All right, hey guys, we are gonna do some value shading today. You should have already looked at the PowerPoint about value and why it's important in two-dimensional artwork. In your workbook on page 22 and 23, and 24 and 25, there are some activities that you're going to be doing. To do these activities, you need a regular pencil, any color, colored pencil, and some type of marker, either regular marker or Sharpie will do. I am doing this upside down from the classroom, so just bear with me if it looks a little funky. I'm doing the best I can. Anyway, so you learned about value, why it's important. Basically the value is the lightness or darkness of a color. And you can create the illusion of space by using value. You can see down here on this page that we have some shapes. Well, they start as shapes, so this starts as a circle and then it is shaded in a way that it makes it look like a form. So it looks like it's in 3 dimensions. Same with this. First we just have a triangle, but it's shaded to look like a cone, a cube, and a cylinder. Right along here we have a little tiny value scale, light to dark of black. So what you're going to be doing today is a couple different activities while we're sitting here together. You're going to be shading a value scale with a regular pencil over here and a color pencil to start. There are tons of videos on YouTube about how to do value shading, but the best bet is that one of these sides needs to be super, super dark. Let me adjust the camera here. Okay, it's kind of on the edge. All right, we're good. So super, super dark, as dark as you can get that pencil, and nice and smooth. So I don't want to see a bunch of pencil lines. You want to make it nice and smooth all together. Now these value scales have a line in between, so that means you should pretty much be able to see the different values as we go down, so different gradations. So I'm just kind of stepping down. This one way down here is going to be white. So the way I do these step approach value scales is kind of start with dark, 1 or 2 of them, and then I come down here and work in the light, just so I can kind of know where my middle value is going to end up without going overboard, because you can always add more in. So you can always layer more pencil, but pulling it back up, you know, for this practice stuff would involve a lot of erasing, and we don't really want to get into that. So I'm just kind of moving down the line, adding a little bit more graphite, and you can see I'm kind of holding my pencil as like a tool rather than a writing utensil. So my hand's a little bit farther back. I'm almost using like the side of my pencil rather than straight on the tip, because we don't want to get, you know, harsh lines like that. We want to get a nice smooth fill of graphite. Keep going, and then this one should pretty much line up with this box here. So maybe a little darker, because this one looks a little bit darker. And just kind of adjust until it looks like they all kind of blend one into the next. Okay, so that's with the pencil. Then you're going to take whatever color pencil you want to do, because value can be lightness and darkness of any color, and do one in color for me. So I just chose this light blue. And we're gonna do the same thing. So I'm gonna fill this one in as dark as I can get that blue. It should be basically solid. Down here is gonna be white, and then we're gonna start kind of doing our gradation up. So I'm gonna lay down a super light amount, and then just kind of keep building. And again, using kind of the side of my pencil rather than like a writing utensil to make harsh lines. And I'm just doing this a little bit faster because I'm on video and I don't want this to be super, super long for you guys. So yours may be a little bit neater than mine, but I'm just trying to step up my value each one of these blocks. Okay, you should be able to tell, maybe smooth out in between a little bit, that I now did a value scale with my colored pencil. Then you're gonna flip over on this page here. Got a few more to do. Pardon the wiggly camera. Okay, So this over here is a value scale that does not have the lines in it anymore, okay? So you can do it with pencil or colored pencil, either one that you choose, but now we're just doing a nice gradation, and I do not want to see any lines in between it, okay? So, sorry, adjusting the cam, let me get that up there. So what you want to do is kind of the same thing. We're going to start down here with super light amount of graphite on our paper. And again, you can always add more. I'm kind of rushing through this just to get the video so it's not super long for you guys. But I want you to take your time. You have a lot of time to do this for me, so take your time, make it nice and smooth, kind of go back and forth to get rid of any harsh lines in between the gradations. So you can see some of it's kind of happening because I'm overlapping in these areas. So that's why you really want to start with a light touch, very little pressure on that pencil, and build up. So we can kind of avoid some of those marks that happen naturally. Down here again is going to be super, super dark. So I'm going to start putting a little bit more pressure on my pencil. It also does not matter for this one what end is dark and what end is light, as long as you do either or. Okay, so I'm just going to keep going. Down here I can get it even darker. And because I'm going pretty fast, I'm not like super rendering all these lines out. But you do want to take your time and do that, okay? Down here is pretty much ends up in white, and I'm barely touching the paper down here. Okay, so that is page 24. Page 25, you learned about different shading techniques. You can see that. Camera keeps sliding down. Including stippling, cross-hatching, and hatching. And you would have learned that hatching involves lines that are going in two directions. So you have a value scale up here, and you're gonna recreate hatching, cross-hatching, and stippling. And I will put up an example in the class resources. But basically hatching, remember, is lines that kind of go in one direction. They can be small lines, they can be long lines, but down here where it's black, it's kind of hard to see from this angle, it should be basically black, but it's made out of lines that are all going in the same direction, right? I'll do this upside down, guys, sorry. Okay, little lines are long lines as long as you're stepping down. And now my hand is kind of lighting, taking a little less pressure off of there as we get down to our white. Okay, the good example again will be up on Schoology. So I should be able to tell that you're getting light to dark. Cross hatching, from what you learned, remember, is the same as hatching, but now we're going both directions. So we go one way, and we go the other way. And this one should be basically black. Next one, my pencil's getting kind of dull, so I want to have a sharpener handy. Now my cross hatching is getting kind of more spaced out. I'm using less pressure. Guys, I'm going fast so that you can see the gradation here. Less pressure. And gonna keep going, okay? So you've seen examples that I showed you in the PowerPoint to show this done a little better. For stippling, this is the one with the dots, and people absolutely hate this one, and I hate teaching this one with pencils because everybody like taps their pencils on the paper at the same time, and it's quite annoying. So you get to pick to use a marker or other kind of bigger mark making device. So for stippling, we know that it's dots or short dashes. So you're gonna fill in this entire box with dots. And yes, it'll take a little bit of time, but what else do we have these days? Time, right? Okay, so this box will end up being basically black. And again, I will show you a great example on Schoology, so just look out for that. And then each box, the dots become a little less dense. I'm just not gonna fill it all in just so you can see what's happening. But really overlapping them to create a value. The dots are getting a little bit more spread out to create the middle values, to create the grays. Even more spread out. Your hand might start cramping up like mine is. And then down here, they're even more far apart. So if you held this paper far away from you with the stippling on it, it would appear as if they were gray, okay? Especially these middle values. They would appear gray because the dots are, you know, pretty close to each other, and from far away, your eyes just kind of blur. Down here, again, should be super, super dark, okay? I didn't fill it all in just for time's sake, but yours should be all filled in, okay? So you have these 2 pages to do and 23 to do, and just kind of look over page 22, 23, 24, and 25.